Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Disability Landscape. Today I'm here again with one of our co-hosts, Tricia Carlberg, and she's going to introduce us to a wonderful guest here with the exciting foundation. Trish, what do we have today?
Yeah, today we have Colleen Peterson from the Cole Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization that connects adaptive equipment from children with disabilities who outgrow the equipment and therefore give it to other children who need it. So I'm so excited to learn more about this foundation.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Totally. So Colleen, how does this organization start, and what was the idea that really inspired you?
Yeah, so I actually have a disabled son myself. He is now 8 years old. And through my experience of having a disabled son, there were a multitude of things that I have had to fight for that I never thought I would have to with having a disabled son. And one of those is getting the proper adaptive equipment that he needs to learn, grow, and play. Um, whether that was a wheelchair or a stander or a gait trainer, um, and other therapeutic pieces of equipment. Um, I found frustration in one, either getting them approved through private insurance, but also through medical assistance. And an additional frustration was even if they did get approved, whether it was private insurance or medical assistance, we would routinely have to wait for a 6 to 9, if not even a year period for us to get the adaptive equipment in our home for my son to use, in which case those periods of time, especially for these young children that are disabled and learning and having working on their mobility, that gap of time of not having that adaptive equipment can be very detrimental to their growth.
Okay.
Yeah, totally. And Colleen, I just want to share experience too. I remember a friend of ours whose daughter need, needed a special bike, and it was hard to come across. So her and her husband put together a bike, and it just took like a tremendous amount of time, but it turned out to be a success, and it worked for their daughter. And but then later on, it ended up getting stolen from somebody in their
Oh no.
community. Yeah, so I can imagine just instances of like that where maybe you got the adaptive equipment and it worked out fine, but then all suddenly it's gone. And
Yeah.
so yeah, and in those instances you don't get that time or energy back. And so I think a foundation like yours is very imperative for those in the
Thank you.
community.
And that bike is a great example. Private insurance and medical systems doesn't cover something like a bike,
Right.
and every child deserves to have a bicycle. And these adaptive bicycles are very typically start at $1,800.
Mm-hmm.
And with the added harness or special footings that they need, easily these adaptive bikes can go up to $2,500. And that's a ton of money for parents to fork out for their child when they have all these other expenses.
Exactly. And you kind of put the hammer to the nail there. Little kids, they're growing. It's like clothing. They always need new clothing, something to fit into. And here they're going to outgrow the adaptive equipment that they've had, in a year or so. And you talk about, having to order it new. By the time you get it, they may have already outgrown it.
Yeah. Or another great example is my son's first stander. That piece of equipment took, I believe, 9 months for us to get. He did use it for a few years.
Okay.
But that piece of equipment was $3,500 that medical assistance did pay for. Luckily enough, we were able to get that through. But the device never left our house. So it is literally in perfect condition. And
Certainly.
federal law for good reason, you're not allowed to sell that piece of equipment because it's
Sure.
whether it's paid for privately or medical assistance. Um, but what am I supposed to do with that piece of equipment when I know that there are kids out there that need it, whether they're waiting for their stander,
Right.
or for, say that that particular child with their disability is just on the cusp of, and the insurance isn't approving it. That's where the Cole Foundation comes in, where families that have disabled children have all these pieces of equipment. They're in perfect working condition. And the Cole Foundation's hope is to get a large name where people know that we have this database, a catalog of equipment that's donated to us.
Okay.
And anything that's actually donated, because we are a FDA, an IRS approved nonprofit,
Right.
approved 501c3
C3.
that patient, yep. So patients can, are these families can actually use their donation as a tax write-off
Okay.
too. That's completely legal. So there's that incentive beyond the obvious incentive that they know that they're helping another family just as much as that piece of equipment helps their family.
Right. If your child has used that equipment, outgrown it, why not let another family that can use that same equipment and have help avoid some of the insurance hassles is a great concept.
And also it helps our state. As we've already spoken a little bit about, these pieces of equipment are in the thousands.
Yeah.
We just got a bath chair for our son that was $3,500. A stander that we got, we waited for a year because my son grew up that one stander. We finally got the other stander. It was an $8,000 piece of equipment.
Wow.
And whether these children are getting better and no longer need the equipment, or they outgrow the equipment, or in some cases, unfortunately, the child passes away. What
Okay.
I'm finding with the launch of the Cole Foundation, these pieces of equipment are sitting in people's garages because they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And actually on our first launch donation day, we received a really incredibly conditioned wheelchair and a stander, and I would guess that both of those two pieces of equipment probably equal to over $10,000.
Okay.
Wow.
Trish?
Colleen, how does the organization reach out to the community and let them know, hey, we're getting on these adaptive equipment, come and get it, or whatever? Like, do you use social media, or what is some of the marketing you use?
Yeah, well, that's where I was really excited that you guys reached out, because a lot of it where we're at right now is getting the word out.
Sure.
We have a great website. I'm really excited and proud of our website that was created. We are on Instagram and on Facebook.
Okay.
Awesome. And donation day, what does that look like? I think that was one Saturday a month or so.
Yeah. So families that have equipment that they would like to donate, they go online, they show us a picture of the piece of equipment so we know what's coming in, and they can pick a Saturday. Our donation days are on the first Saturday of every month.
Okay.
Right now it's from 2 to 5, and it's being held at the Family Achievement Center right here in Woodbury. My plan in the future is to have several donation sites throughout the state, so it's easier for people to come in. But right now we have that one donation day where the families will then come and drop off that piece of equipment. And as we're waiting to get more donations to help be able to have Cole Foundation function on a higher level, I've been lucky enough, my parents actually own a trucking company and have some extra space in one of their buildings. So as I'm getting the equipment in, I take pictures and send it to my website designer, who uploads the equipment in our library for donating,
Okay.
or excuse me, for families to look at to borrow. And the equipment's stored right now in a building. So, but my hope in the future, as we get some funds coming in, we can have a better centrally located area where we can store the equipment and actually have the storage place also be a location where we can do the donation days and maybe even open up the times for donation or donating the equipment back out. So it fits a better time for people's schedules.
Okay. And if you would, could you kind of go through the steps or the process when a family says, you know, we identify a certain piece of equipment you have that would really help our child. What's the process they go through to get that lent to them?
Yeah, so if they go right onto the Cole Foundation website, there's a donate equipment page that they would click on. It's a really simple form that they complete with their demographics, their name, their address. They upload a picture. Some of the equipment that we take include stander, gait trainers, swings, therapeutic swings, communication devices. These may not be in the thousands, but they're still hundreds of dollars.
Sure.
And is an added expense that private insurance and medical assistance almost never covers. Other therapeutic toys for these kids, like switches. Bath chairs is also something that we take. A couple of the pieces equipment that we do not take, because my lawyers won't let us, is power wheelchairs. One, because of the power part, but also these pieces of equipment usually are very specific to that individual. So unfortunately, we cannot take those. Hospital beds is another piece of equipment we cannot currently take. And car seats.
Okay.
But anything else that's in the realm, bicycles, of course, is another big thing that we will take with the Cole Foundation. So it's really easy if you go on the Cole website and browse what's in our library. So there's a tab that says, do you need equipment? You click on that. And then there's all these categories of equipment that you can see that we have available. And you click the borrow button.
Okay.
And fill out the information. The Cole Foundation's hope is a couple things. One, to bridge that gap while you're waiting for the equipment, or if you've had private insurance or medical assistance deny that equipment.
Sure.
So we're wanting for the families to seek out the avenues that if they can get the equipment, purchased through, that we're not like the first place to go, but if they are in that process, as we know it can take months, if not a year, we're happy to borrow that equipment. And then the family also signs a contract proving and acknowledging the fact that it's a loan device. The cool thing, and that was really important to me when I started the Cole Foundation, is that there is not a specific time that they can only have it for. It's not for a month. It's not for 6 months. It's for as long as they need it. And then we just ask when they're done with the equipment to please return it so we can give it to another family.
So you try to use it more or less then as a stopgap for parents who are either waiting for insurance or have been denied insurance coverage for a device. Okay, that's a really cool concept. And it does get it in the hands of people that need them a lot quicker.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you have an idea right now how many people you're serving with your program and what your goals are?
Yeah. So what I can tell you is we're relatively a new organization. One of the cool things, I guess, if I can say about COVID, is that it gave me some time to start the Cole Foundation. I do work full time. I'm in the biopharmaceutical medical device arena. And I wanted to create something that I could manage, even though I work full time.
Sure.
But obviously have great passion that I knew that there was this hole, and I volunteered all my life, and thought that this was something that needed to be created to help the families out there.
That's good.
I started this process in August, and it took over 9 months for all the filings to happen. If somebody told me it was going to take so long to start a nonprofit, I'm not saying I wouldn't have done it, but it's probably better that I went into it really naively. It's a
Well,
lot of work.
I'm sure there's a lot of challenges that come with the whole setup thing too.
Yeah. It's been a learning experience, that's for certain. We did our first donation day in May.
Okay.
We've donated one piece of equipment so far, but the Cole Foundation hasn't been strong in promoting that part just yet. We're getting really close. Of course, COVID kind of hindered
Oh, yeah.
some of this too, but our first phase was just gathering the equipment,
Okay.
getting the word out, what the Cole Foundation is, and gathering equipment so we can have a decent database, library for families to be able to see and browse
Sure.
what we have for them to borrow.
Okay.
So we have about close to 20 pieces of equipment so far.
Colleen, I just wanted to ask another question about how can one go about volunteering for your organization?
Yeah, we love volunteers and certainly could use them. One way that families can, or an individual can volunteer is to come help during donation day. Welcoming people that are bringing in equipment, cleaning the equipment, or else helping the families that are taking the equipment, and signing the necessary paperwork. That is a great way to volunteer. Another great way of volunteering is contact me, which you can also do through the Cole Foundation. There's a spot where it says, do you want to volunteer? And you can just click that and fill out the form, and your information will get back to you. But where we could really use some help that would really get the word out with the Cole Foundation is to email or get flyers from me that can be dropped off to your families that have their pediatrician, other therapy places like Courage Kenny, the St. Croix Therapy, different organizations,
Okay.
your church, Shriners, hospitals,
Okay.
anything like that, just to get the word out that we're here and ready to help.
Okay. So have you partnered or working with other organizations, mentioned like Courage Kenny, if they get people that say, I have this equipment, they say, hey, call this lady and she'll help you out. Great. We can put that to great use.
Yeah, at the Stillwater location for pediatrics, they know about us at Courage Kenny. Also the Family Achievement Center, which is located in Woodbury and Bloomington. The Woodbury location is actually our donation site. They've let us use their facility to make those transactions. Central Peds, Dr. Carrie Petty, who actually is my son's pediatrician, she is one of our board of executors, actually, as well as Dr. Shapiro with Midwest Immunology. He's one of our executor board directors too. And schools is another great location to get the word out. And in Woodbury, I would say we have a pretty strong presence, but we're ready to get known all throughout the state of Minnesota.
Have you contacted like Gillette's Children's Hospital to see, let them know also that you're in the market for that kind of stuff?
I haven't had the opportunity yet. That's where I wish I could split myself in 10 ways to get the word out.
Yeah, there's only so much of yourself to go around, correct?
Yeah, right. Like Shriners, I haven't been able to get to. We do participate with Hope Kids, so they are aware. And we're part of a couple other of the Facebook organizations to get the word out too. But I think just getting the word out even a little bit should create a fire, I think, in response to letting other people know.
Word
But
of mouth
that's
and social
key.
media are great things to work with.
Yes, yeah.
And,
So that's where you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for wanting to do a piece on the Cole
we
Foundation.
will have
'cause
that
will
word out there
definitely
for
help.
you. Yeah, the organization, are you on Facebook? You said Facebook and Instagram, is that
Yep.
correct? We'll be
Yes.
glad to
Yep.
spread that word for you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Colleen, it sounds like a great upstart. You got some great concepts, and you know, I can understand some of this equipment going to waste after, a child has used it for a year or two, where, as you say, it's still in great condition. Why not let somebody else reuse it as well? So,
Absolutely.
Colleen, Trish, we're about ready to wrap up here, but if you have anything, let me know here.
Sounds great, Charlie, and I'm so glad that Colleen was able to join us today.
So, Colleen, in closing, we want to thank you for joining us here today. The website is thecolefoundation.org. Is that correct?
.com.
It's .com. So
Yep.
go to thecolefoundation.com, read up about this great organization, send them some volunteer time and even some money, because obviously they've got a great program that they're trying to get off the ground, and we want to support it. So
Thank you.
for Disability Landscape, I've been Charlie Bros. We want to thank Colleen Peterson and Tricia Karlberg as my co-host today. We'll see you next time.
One of the things we used to do at the radio station, we played a game called Smarter Than Stacy. I happen to have some questions left over, and I thought maybe we could play a game called Smarter Than the Dude in a Wheelchair.
There you go. There you go.
There we go.
Okay, I'm going to ask you questions. You guys write the answers down, and then I will give you the answers here in just a little bit.
Sounds like a plan.
Question number one, the Outland Trophy is awarded in what sport? The Outland Trophy.
Oh,
So think about that for a minute,
okay.
then write your answer down.
I think Charlie's gonna. And no cheating, Charlie. I don't want to see your hands Googling.
No Googling. Okay, second question. Who created Yertle the Turtle? Who created Yertle the Turtle?
How do you spell Yertle?
Yertle.
Oh, okay.
Yertle the Turtle. And he's writing his answer down.
Yep.
Next question. What type of creature would you keep in an apiary?
AP.
What type of creature would you keep in an apiary?
Spelling again, please.
Apiare.
Okay, that really doesn't help me at all. But I tried.
All right. How many questions is that? 4?
That's 3 right now.
That's 3. Okay, here's number 4. What is the scoring term for 0 in the sport of tennis?
Oh,
now you give us a gimme.
I'll
Good.
give you a gimme on that one.
Good. I was close. Yeah.
Last question in this round. I got 2 rounds.
Oh, great.
Here you go. What did the Scarecrow seek from the Wizard of Oz? All right.
Oh.
There you go.
The first
did I
3
mention
I've
the winner?
made some wild guesses on, so we'll get back to that. And I will be able to give some lovely sound effects to those answers.
Yeah. You know,
So,
we played Smarter Than Stacy, these trivia questions. We played them at 4:20 to 4:30 every day for 15 years, and people just loved it. And, you know, we actually, at Christmas time at my home, we play Win Moon's Money. And I go out and I get $300, and I get it all in ones. And then what we do is I come up with these types of questions, Anybody can do this. You don't have to do $300. You can do $100 or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of people that play. That's why I do the 300. We've got, my wife's kids, my kids, we got grandkids, everybody plays. And then if it's a simple question, like the question about tennis, you might win $1. And then if nobody gets the question, then that dollar rolls over. And then sometimes, you'll end up getting a question that's worth 10 or $15, right?
Wow.
And then some years we actually have a chance where people can steal the answer. I mean, I guess it depends how many cocktails people have had.
Right. Yeah.
Here comes your answers. The answer for question number 1, the Outland Trophy is awarded in football.
Football.
Football. I was guessing hockey.
Yeah.
I actually guessed the other football, soccer. So
Soccer, okay. Question number 2, who created Yertle the Turtle? You guys tell me.
Oh my.
I went with Jim Henson, but it was a while
Yeah, I
ago.
know. That's what I was thinking, a Sesame Street thing, but I just don't. You're the Turtle sounds more like a cartoon type thing. So I was thinking like a Nickelodeon thing.
How about Dr. Seuss?
Oh, that ran through my mind.
Okay. I had the cartoon thing kind of right, that I was in the right direction.
What type of creature would you keep in an apiary?
An ape? I mean, that's all I can happen.
I went butterfly.
It's a
Oh.
bee.
A bee.
A bee.
Oh, you were close. You were more in the right direction than I was, Charlie.
I was in the insect world, so that helps.
Yeah.
And both of you probably got love as 0 in tennis.
Yep.
Love.
I played wheelchair tennis for about a week and a half and said, my arms hate me now, so I'm not going to do that anymore.
Yeah, that's pretty tough.
I did wheelchair tennis a few times, and just to let you know, Moon, the way they adapt tennis and wheelchair is that instead of 1 bounce, okay, you get 2 bounces to return it. Now the first bounce has to land in the in the court area in the proper lines. The second bounce can be wherever, but you have to return it after 2 bounces. It was I did not like playing singles. Doubles was fine, but we just like in able-bodied doubles, when the ball goes in between the 2 of you and the 2 of you are in wheelchairs, it's like a little bumper tank type thing. You're both going and
It's like
Boom.
a demolition derby.
yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah,
learned that
bumper derby.
if you served my backhand, the point was automatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty tough. Last question. What did the Scarecrow seek from the Wizard of Oz?
Well,
Is that the
obviously
heart?
it's the brain.
It is the brain.
Oh,
Yes,
well, yeah.
the heart was
So
the
you
tin
got
can.
it, yeah.
So
Charlie's the brain of the operation.
so
So
Charlie takes round number 1.